Recently, I've just finished YuYu Hakusho, a coping mechanism to fill the never-ending void that is being a Hunter x Hunter fan. But is Togashi's first project truly as good as its successor? Well, I think it's fair to say no, as Yu Yu Hakusho isn't nearly as complex of a story, and brings me to the main point of this video, the vibes of Yu Yu Hakusho. You could slander and pick apart the show's narrative flaws all you like, and you'd be right, but you'd be a very boring and mean-spirited person. Brain rot memes aside, there is a sort of aura that emanates from this show. Whether it's because it was made and produced in the 90s, or the nostalgia fully blinding us as we watch it, the concepts, designs, background art, music, voice acting, all of it culminates into its own unique vibe or identity. I wanted to make this video after finishing the series to one, prove a point that sometimes you don't need an intricate story to make a fun, entertaining watch, but to bring a fresher perspective as somebody who is really late to the game. I'm also only 20, so yeah. But let's start with the opening that changed it all. The infamous first episode of the series. Now, the opening to this video might have seemed a little tad negative, but I'm not here to say that the story is incompetent. There is a lot of story beats that branch off the main path of the narrative that hold some pretty complex and interesting topics. With the first episode, or I guess the first couple episodes, being one of those more interesting topics. We see Yusuke, who is one of those lovable delinquents with a big heart, sacrificing himself to protect a kid who almost got hit by a car in the street, thus losing his life in the process, and becoming a spirit stuck in the human world, unable to move on until he makes amends. Now, this concept isn't too insane, but it's about the execution and how masterfully those first couple episodes laid the groundwork about what is to come. Yusuke, being the main character and given his personality, is a very active character, and his role in the story is very active in nature. So to have him in the first couple episodes unable to do anything but sit back and watch the other characters, it's genius. You get to see how these other characters view Yusuke and learn more about him through the lens of the other characters through the world, and see what his life was like on Earth by contrasting it with him now removed from it. The principal, Kuwabara, Keiko, his mom, all these characters mourning his death really shows Togashi's strength to write really interesting character relationships, and proves a point that despite the colorful pop art neon aesthetics, there are some dark concepts that get explored here. Now, I believe Togashi's strongest feature as an author is his vision, his ability to make notable story beats, imagery, and characters. Yu Yu Hakusho is a series that a lot of outsiders are aware of because of its striking, one-of-a-kind design. One of the drawing factors is the series' iconic antagonists. Everyone has heard of Toguro. He is without a doubt one of the most infamous villains in the shonen sphere. I myself thought he was an overarching antagonist over the whole series. It is my discovery that he was just one of the amazing foes the series had to offer. I mean, heck, the Dark Tournament arc is so early on in the series, it totally took me by surprise that the best tournament arc in anime wasn't the final part of the story. But aside from Toguro, you also have Sensui and Yomi, and they're also fantastic. Sensui especially, I really enjoyed as the stark contrast from Yusuke's encounter with Toguro. One who sacrifices humanity in pursuit of strength becoming a demon, and the other one seeing the worst humanity has to offer, throwing away his title as Spirit Detective, progress his plan of wiping humanity off the face of the earth. While I love the Dark Tournament arc for what it is, ultimately it was the Chapter Black saga that made everything click with me and truly understand Yu Yu Hakusho's vision. In the Chapter Black arc, we meet some amazing new additions to the team after we learn about territories and go through a game Genkai set up to prepare Yusuke for the upcoming conflict. The highlight of this arc isn't the final bout between Sensui and Yusuke, but the buildup of the various encounters along the way. Some of you might disagree with this take, but the whole arc felt like a part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the best way possible. The different characters, good and bad, awaken to spiritual powers due to the rift opening in the city. You can liken this to Stand User's Awakening, where new characters are thrown into a brand new world, and we get to see how they react and further proceed with their powers. It was always fascinating to see why characters would follow Sensui steps or switch to help Yusuke. Sadly, the 3 that joined Team Urameshi don't stick with them long, but it was nice seeing a new cast of fun personalities. Togashi's character writing ability is evident here. I mean, how else would he be able to introduce 100 characters in the Succession War in Hunter x Hunter and be able to tell all memorable and important stories? Anyways, a more unexplainable reason as to why I like this arc comes down to the TV anime's adaptation in its aesthetics. The city swarmed of bugs and overall weird atmosphere in the air makes every setting they visit solemn and detached from reality. The bar where they meet Murata is so cozy and encapsulating, like a real underground bar. Time of day is non-existent and this moment seems frozen in time. The city square is filled with people and yet it feels as if only Yusuke's crew and Sensui are the only ones inhabiting it. Most of all, the hospital with the doctor fight. This is where the nostalgia hits hard. I'm not sure what it's harkening back to, but the whole sequence of the episodes makes me on edge and off-put. Every setting here has a vision, like a biome in a game. The sadistic personality of the doctor matches the sad and unsettling hospital. Its sterile lighting and bleak atmosphere that would still probably even be there without the territory in place. This is all to say that this arc just gives me more of the weird vibes that I'm looking for in this series. Like going to Spirit World for the first time. Seeing the weird color schemes and intricate architecture was mesmerizing. It was like I was being sucked into there myself. I would bet that a great story comes down to whether or not the author has an end goal in mind or a general layout of the story before they start to make it. It makes pacing not stall. I'm happy to say that YuYu Hakusho doesn't face the blunders that older shows go through with pacing. There's no irrelevant screen time and every episode is, well, episodic. This could have easily been a multi-hundred episode long series, but Togashi kept it down to a few arcs to explore everything he wanted within this world. The power system isn't all too involved or complex, so it would have been a matter of time before the combat grew stale. But the combat system fit the theming of what the show wanted to explore through the lens of spirits and the afterlife. Yusuke's quest for greater strength and purpose in life is very dismal. His energetic behavior dies down over the course of the story, bringing him to the breaking point in the final arc. Yusuke is led to believe he should go to Demon World and visit Raizen. His thoughts replicate the mindset of his demon ancestors, and he worries that after his encounter with Toguro, it's going to come true that he can no longer belong in the human world.
Report to the medical tent.
As long as they don't grab my balls and make me cough. Scratch that.
Now, I will say that I'm partly disappointed the final arc devolved into a tournament arc, as I was interested in seeing the Demon World politics, the fight for power, and the 3 factions collide overall. But it is really funny that they just made it a tournament arc. It goes against the principles that half of these characters abide by, especially Yomi, overall just giving in to that primal nature of wanting to show that he is the best through physical prowess. And it just goes with the point that you're not really supposed to be taking the show all too seriously. I mean, Genkai died like 3 times over and it's still around, so. But that is YuYu Hakusho. It is quite the marvel. At a time where Shonen Jump is going through cycles where trends come and go, YuYu Hakusho is such a breath of fresh air. While we see the Spirit World design aesthetics and setting all the time now, it's good to know where it rooted from. Not to mention, look at the drip. I mean, these characters change outfits all the time. I mean, that alone is something I appreciate in any series. And if you're wondering if Bonsai Pop is acting like a boomer, preaching about the good old days, well, yeah, he is, but no, you should still watch this show.
Over 20 years ago, I was sitting in my grandmother's living room late at night.
Hold on.
Ah, what the fuck? You cluster bombing me? What the fuck?
You cluster bombing me?